Greetings. Welcome to today's sermon notes, which will be taking from Matthew, the 24th chapter, the 3rd to the 14th verses. And it says, "Now, as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, 'Tell us, when will these things be, and what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age?' And Jesus answered and said to them, 'Take heed that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and will deceive many. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. And see, you are not troubled, for all must come to pass. But the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in various places, and all these the beginning of sorrow. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and kill you, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many will be offended and will betray one another and hate one another. And then many false prophets will rise up and deceive many. And because lawlessness will abound, the love of many will grow cold. But he who endures to the end shall be saved. And this gospel, the kingdom, will be preached in all the world as a witness to the nations. And then the end will come.'" Nothing in Christendom is more compelling than discussing the last days. We delight in conversations regarding things like the last judgment, the final judgment, day of reckoning, the day of judgment, doomsday, and the resurrection of the day of the Lord, or things of that nature. For us believers, it's just exciting to ponder about the day of our eternal deliverance. What a glorious day that will be. But before the glory, there will be times of great trouble. So let's review the teaching of Jesus regarding this matter. Now, while we generally talk exclusively about the terrible things that will precede his return, please note also what he didn't say. Jesus definitely said difficult times will come. He warned us of false prophets that would deceive many. He spoke of wars and disputes and skirmishes and disagreements of all kinds. He outlined natural disasters that would cause tremendous sorrow. And perhaps that's what we're seeing now with what we're calling global warming. Well, at any rate, seriously bad weather is in the forecast. And then there's the promise of personal persecution for Christ's sake. Let's talk about that for a moment. Because we live in the United States of America, we may be somewhat oblivious to the extreme suffering and pain people all over the world are having right now. But please believe me, they are suffering. According to the Open Doors World Watch List reporting, the global phenomenon of Christian persecution has grown alarmingly. Globally, more than 360 million Christians suffer at least high levels of persecution and discrimination for their faith. In 1993, Christians faced high to extreme levels of persecution in 40 countries. This number had nearly doubled to 76 countries by 2023. So it's fairly easy to see that the sad prophecy is coming to pass. And I wouldn't discount that hatred coming to our doors in the U.S. Yes, additionally, Jesus mentioned Christians infighting. The day will come, and in some cases it appears it's already here, when so-called Christians will literally fight, dislike, and hate each other. I really don't want to fathom a world like that, but it's going to happen anyway. Until finally, the love of the Lord in the hearts of many will simply grow cold. Now, these are the things Jesus said would happen. But what he said would not happen is his return. At least not now. The pestilence and the floods and false prophets, earthquakes, hatred, backstabbing, persecution, and backslidings are just precursors to the actual catalyst for the coming of Christ. And what's that? Watch this now. His return in many ways is predicated on you and me. Yes, on us. Did you catch what Jesus said in verses 13 and 14? He said what? But he who endures to the end shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all the nations. And then the end will come. You see that? The return of the Lord is intrinsically and deeply tied to our spreading the gospel. After all the carnage, death, and crime, the salvation of humanity is predicated upon believers staying steadfast and faithful in the face of enormous suffering and share the power of the gospel. Yes, it's in our sharing. People of God, as much as we want to remain anonymous, cautious, safe, and nonchalant about our salvation, it's clear that a day is coming and is upon us now where we will be forced to make a definitive declaration concerning our salvation. Either we are with Jesus or we are not. Right now, for us, it's not a difficult decision, but in the face of imprisonment, torture, or death, I wonder how many of us would or could keep holding on. Listen, we can work to hasten the Lord's return. By what? Sharing the gospel with the entire world as best we can. We have communication tools we never dreamed of having at our disposal right now. We have the opportunity to spread the word that millions around the world no longer have. And we have the power of the Spirit of Christ to become witnesses. While no one knows the exact day or hour of the Lord's return, we